Hello and welcome to round 9 of the Ducky Touring Car Championship. Being the last race of the weekend, the grid was randomly reversed from, this case, 6th place on the grid, and oh my word, we have contact on the parade lap. It looks like, yeah, that looks like some significant damage to Claret. Coop's getting into the side of him. Anyway, I better get back to reading out the grid. PTG Alcoholic got pole as he finished 6th in the last race. Mesosphere, Rubber Dave and Petuk then fill out the top 4. Rosny and Claret, being 1st and 2nd, get 5th and 6th on the grid, with Coops and Juggernaut bringing in the row 4. Ducky and Kane unfortunately bring up the rear. And we are go. Fantastic launch there from Rosny by the looks of it, into the middle of that pack. BMW is also doing well on the inside. Alcoholic left a little out to dry on the outside of the corner. Mesosphere's also done well, moving up into 2nd. Well, holding 2nd, I suppose. Looking to the inside, though, of Petuk going into the first hairpin. Claret taking it well, moving into 3rd place. Rosny still battling away, though. Oh! That looks like contact. That looks like contact. Claret's got into the back of Mesosphere. I hope there's not too much damage, although from the looks of that shot, it could be quite significant. So from piles down towards the first corner, looks like Ducky and Jugs back there were having a great battle. Alcoholic has easily got up alongside Claret, and Claret is off. As it turns out, Claret here will retire. Significant damage was maintained both in that contact with Mesosphere and with the one with Coops on the parade lap. Meanwhile, back further forward, Rubber Dave and Alcoholic battling for the last place on the podium. That contact, though, just gave Coops the inside as he moves up into 3rd place. Rubber Dave takes 4th. Looks like Jugs has fallen back to 5th, and Rosny all over him. And Ducky's moving up the field, passing Kane back there. Great move by Rosny, though, easing through up into what looks like 5th place. Nice to see some good close battles here in the early stages. Rubber Dave appears to have dropped back slightly from Coops, although Coops is very much in attendance with Mesosphere. Does appear to be struggling a little bit with the rear end of that car. Look at that dent. Oh, he's also made a mistake, got up on the curb, and that's Coops through. Doesn't look like Mesosphere's planning on giving it up, but he may well struggle here. All depends how well he can keep up on the straights. Battle's certainly on as well behind them. Rubber Dave, Rosny and Jugs all really mixing it. Mesosphere got a great exit from that corner onto the straight, but Coops is just leaving him behind, unlike in the previous races. Look at the gap Coops has managed to pull out down that straight. Meanwhile, back with Rosny. All over Rubber Dave. I don't think he could really get much closer. Oh, he's going down the inside. Has he pulled it off? He has, and don't worry, that BMW you see parked on that corner, it's just an artifact of the replays. He wasn't actually just sat in the middle of the road. Oh, a bit of contact there from Rubber Dave into the back of Rosny. Looks like it's cost Rubber Dave more. I think that was Jugs nipping at the inside. Was indeed. Hopefully not too much damage to Rosny. We don't need more more cars on the scrap heap in this race. I was wondering where Mesosphere had gone. He's dived into the pits. Looks like he figured it was worth a gamble of taking the time out to repair the car. I hope it was for him. Meanwhile, out in front, look at Petuk's gap. He is absolutely storming away. No pressure on him, so he's able to just try and go for the fastest lap of the race, get that bonus point. Meanwhile, further back, Jugs is diving down the inside of Rosny. He's broken a bit late though, coming back in. Ooh, a bit more contact. Oof, and then Rosny's bounced in a Rubber Dave as well. That's dropped him back down to 5th, or is it 6th, as there's Ducky getting in on the action. You haven't seen much of him this weekend. It's good to see him getting in on the battle, and Rosny up on 2 wheels going around that first kink. Not all is sounding well with that Civic either. I wonder if he's got some damage now. And it's hard to tell whether that's engine smoke or just tyre smoke from some of these guys. But there certainly seems a lot more of it than there was. Rosny and Ducky having a fantastic battle down here in the midfield. And they're not far away from Jugs, although it does appear they are falling back. And Rubber Dave has certainly made a break for it. Looks like Ducky's having a go in a club. Ooh, doesn't look like he made it. No, not quite. Definitely appears that Rosny is struggling here. He's now losing touch quite badly with Jugs. Oh, and he seems to be taking that corner a bit too tight. That's the second time we've seen him up for that. If he doesn't stop that, he's going to roll the car. It has given Ducky the chance though, going round the outside of the hairpin. That's a brave move, and just shows how difficult it is currently for Rosny. He must be carrying some damage. Alcoholic as well as looking getting in on the action, his teammate. Good close racing between the Civics. And is that Mesosphere lurking in the background? He might yet steal some points. Everything at the front of the field is unfortunately quite spread out, and that, by the way, is Kane being lapped. Another sufferer of early damage. That is indeed Alcoholic through past Rosny. Just taking more speed down the straight. And now Rosny's got equal trouble. Here comes Mesosphere. He's not hanging around, he's after points still. Oh! Hard to tell who was at fault with that one. We'll put it down to a racing incident. Mesosphere had got quite up alongside, but was he up far enough? Hard to call. Meanwhile, here's Petuk. We haven't seen him all race, but here he is crossing line in first. Coops coming second with a bit of a interesting finish. Well, if you're going to cross the line, you may as well do it on your roof. Rubber Dave in third. Oof, that looked painful. We got Jugs in fourth. Ducky in fifth. Alcoholic looks like just behind. And on the last corners, we got Rosny and Mesosphere still battling away. And I think Mesosphere's got it this time. Yes, he does. Mesosphere taking 7th and Rosny 8th. Kane in 9th. With unfortunately Claret DNFing. So, the championship is looking awesome. We have Petuk on 126 points, Mesosphere only 2 points behind, and 1 point behind him is Rubber Dave. Brains has tumbled all the way down to 5th. But now we're halfway through into the season, so let's bring in the dropping the 3 lowest scores. Now, Brains missed this week, so his 3 lowest scores are definitely this weekend, putting him on 109 points. But the gap is only 11 points to Petuk, and only 2 points further behind is Mesosphere, and Rosny's not far out of that. Rubber Dave seems to have lost out most, but he's still got 3 really good scores that had to be dropped at the moment. Let's see what happens in the rest of the series. Plenty of action in the midfield. I think that's Dave passing Reaper. Ducky's having a look at it as well. Very hectic at the start, as expected. And now Mesosphere's got to run at him. Going to the outside. Oh! Ducky's broken too late and hit Jugs. This has let Mesosphere pass the both of them.